it's not uncommon, especially during this time, for there to be a desire to acquire or sharpen an existing skill. The job market, as you know, worldwide has changed drastically, and competition may now be at an accelerated level. So, in light of all of that, the Trinidad and Tobago Corporate Training Academy has embarked on a number of sessions. Their latest is weekly entrepreneurial workshop and a one-day public speaking workshop. We are happy to be joined by Wendy H Lewis, Director and Senior Facilitator via Zoom. She's here to tell us a lot more about these offerings. Good morning, Ms. Lewis. Welcome.
A pleasant good morning to you, Ms. Sergio, and your listening public.
And tell us why these particular focal points at this time, public speaking, of course, and the entrepreneurial focus. What have you noticed that would have given rise to these skill sets?
Well, one of the things I recognize first and foremost is that there are always opportunities in the middle of a crisis. And we would have conducted a needs assessment at the Academy and recognized that a lot of people are suffering from a loss of income in the middle of this pandemic. And you have a choice when that happens. You can complain to the government, your employer, or you can figure out, what can I do to change this? Because sometimes we're too dependent on other things and the government and all these other resources when we're sitting on them. We have a lot of people, Ms. Sergio, who are sitting on millions. And I recognize in highlighting a problem, I should come up with a solution. And hence the entrepreneurial workshop, where people can find their giftings, find your skill set and monetize on it. So we want to be able to teach people the right structure in terms of innovation. How innovative can you be? You can come up with an invention as well in the middle of a crisis that can turn you into a millionaire. You can also recognize the different aspects of marketing, because a lot of people are wondering, how can I put my business online? What do I do? Does it mean that because we cannot open based on the state of emergency and the regulations that are in place, that I cannot run my business? Of course you can. You can run your business online, but you need to know how to. You can also become an entrepreneur. A lot of people think that you do need a skill set, but the magnitude of the skill set that people think that is required to become an entrepreneur is not the case. So I'm inviting one and all to join us on this 4-week entrepreneurial workshop, where we will be talking about opportunities in the middle of a crisis, developing an entrepreneurial mindset, innovation versus invention, especially the 4 P's of marketing. What is the product that you have to offer? What is the service that you can provide? So we will assist you in finding out what that product could be, what service you can provide. We will take your product, we will package it nicely for you. We'll show you how to package it, how to price it, and of course, how to promote it online. Choosing the right communication platform as well. For example, we're on Zoom. Zoom, a lot of people would have wished that they had shares in Zoom prior to the pandemic. Then we have Microsoft Teams, we have Facebook Live. Which platform is the right platform for you? And there are so many areas in these different platforms that we can utilize and maximize to make profit.
It sounds like there is a lot of focus at this time on the mindset. You know, I'm getting, because of the fatigue of Zoom, the fatigue of the pandemic, a lot of what I've been seeing online focuses on resilience and how to build that resilience mentally, psychologically, in light of everything people are facing. To what extent do your courses focus on that or bring that into play?
That's the first element, because your mindset has to be right. If you have to develop your mindset, you have to recognize that change is upon us and we do not have a choice. You either change to move with the times so that you can stay sane, or you stay frustrated. We do have a choice. So when you wake up in the morning, what's the first thing you look at? How many people died yesterday? How many positive cases? Or do you wake up with the mindset that I need to give thanks because I am here? What can I do to avoid a negative situation? So mindset is key, and that's the first thing we address in either one of our workshops.
And is it that you give a lot of individual attention, because it sounds like you are paying specific focus to the various products that people may have in mind to be developed? Is there a lot of individual attention being given to each of the participants?
Yes. So we really ensure that we have an interactive session, and we also have follow-ups. And for example, we would have done corporate protocol and etiquette last week. And all participants have 6 months access to the academy in terms of if they're having a particular event online, if they want to understand more about the table of precedence. So at the actual workshop, we give individual attention. And after the workshop, you do have access to the academy because everybody wouldn't grasp everything at the same time. So we're very open and interactive.
And public speaking, I am very interested in this one using the virtual space. And do you find that the needs have shifted now that we are required to present online, that we spend so much more time speaking and engaging folks online? How have you, in delivering your courses, how have you had to shift, especially in light of the public speaking one? How have you had to make the shift to accommodate that?
Surgery, because the most challenging of all has been the public speaking, to the point where this is the second public speaking workshop that we're doing online in the 2-year span that we've had the pandemic. Because one of the things that I look for in public speaking when I'm facilitating is body language. How you enter a room. The practical session for me is really what brings it home and gives you an opportunity to zero in on people's areas of weakness where they may need more attention. And I found that to be a challenge in terms of teaching online. And I had to reevaluate how I facilitate this particular program. So we've changed the settings as well, even on the online platform, is where I would have recognized the different views, changing from speaker to group. And I had to learn the advanced version of Zoom to be able to facilitate public speaking online so that I can see some of the attributes that I would like to see from the participants. So it's been a challenge, but it's not one that hasn't been overcome.
Well, I'm sorry you can't see my video, Ms. Lewis. I would love some feedback on what you're able to gauge from my posture, etc. But maybe I should sign up for the course. And another thing I am curious to find out is what the feedback has been like, what the subscription to your courses has been like. I mean, you seem to be on a constant go in terms of your offerings, but what's the uptake been like? Are you satisfied with it? Do you think there's more room? I know that there are people really hurting in the economy right now. Do you feel that the disposable income is there to keep up these kinds of courses?
Well, I think it's been a 50-50, I would say. The corporate Trinidad and Tobago are taking advantage of the training offerings because people are at home. And because people are at home, you can't really monitor and evaluate your staff when they're at home. So it's an opportunity for employers to now invest further in their staff so that they maximize their time. So that when the pandemic is not here to stay, so when the pandemic is over, they would have sharpened their skill sets. And for example, the entrepreneurial workshop, we have discounted it by 75%. That workshop is normally $1,995, $2,000. And we've recognized that a lot of the individuals who would be at home, who would have a skill set that they would like to monetize, cannot afford that at this point in time. So we would have discounted that course with the people in mind. If we want to solve a problem, it doesn't make sense advertising a course that's not affordable in this particular climate. So we would have taken all those things into consideration and we would have had great feedback, especially for the entrepreneurial workshop.
And when we come out of this on the other side, as we all expect to, what do you think you will do differently in terms of your offerings? Do you see yourself continuing the virtual offerings or doing a hybrid of some kind?
I believe I will have both, because one of the things that I've maximized on the virtual platform is an audience outside of Trinidad and Tobago. So when we return to normality, when we return to, no more pandemic, we're back to normal, that kind of thing. If I have my workshops in a conference room, I will be able to facilitate people in Trinidad and Tobago. And then you have the option of people flying in to attend the courses. People would have grown accustomed to the virtual platform by then. There will be very few people, I think, who will want the interaction and the classroom setting, especially people from the region and abroad. So I would have the best of both worlds. I will still have the conference room setting for those who would like to become more interactive and have that face-to-face interaction, which has been missed terribly. And I would still have the online presence for my clientele that I would have generated regionally and internationally.
And what do you think are the most important skills going forward in this time? Regardless, I know that you're speaking specifically to two courses that you're currently putting together. But
Yes.
what are the most important skills in your estimation now?
I would say right now, people need to work on their mindset. People need to be able to accept and recognize that change is inevitable, regardless to what field you're in. Mindset is key, making sure you have a positive mindset and finding what your giftings are, what are your skill sets, because you may be doing something that you're making money from it on an 8 to 4 and a 9 to 5, only to recognize that after attending the entrepreneurial workshop, you recognize that I have had this skill set for quite a number of years and didn't think of monetizing it. And a lot of people who have entered the world of entrepreneurship have not turned back, because ideally you need multiple streams of income.
Yes, I mean, we keep hearing about that. And I know that that is even more so the case now. We find that everybody has found ways to do that. And as you said,
Yes.
you know, using your gifts, etc. So we do want you to remind us of the details. How can folks get involved? How can they sign up and find out more information?
Sure, everything is available online. So the Trinidad and Tobago Corporate Training Academy website is www.TTTCorporateTrainingAcademy.com. You just click on the image for the course that you would like to register, and everything is self-explanatory. You will receive a course outline. There is a link for you to actually register online. All payment options are available. We have WePay, PayPal, transfer. Everything is available online. We also have a Facebook presence. Our Facebook page is TTTCTA. That's TTTCTA. So either through the Facebook page or our website, and everything is available. We also have an online chat available for people if they want to ask questions or get further information. So everything is online.
And do the courses remain available to participants even after the course, since it's online and possibly, quite possibly recorded?
Well, I would not say that they are available based on a webinar, as you're suggesting. We rotate the courses based on needs. So we complete a needs assessment quarterly, and that's how we build the platform for our virtual calendar. So coming out of public speaking, we would then have other courses coming up, and we do repeat the entrepreneurial workshop quarterly. If the need arises, we have companies and NGOs requesting it as well. So we have private courses online as opposed to public as well. So it depends on the needs of the people.
Thank you very much, Ms. Lewis. I think all very
Thank you,
optimistic.
Ms. Sergio.
And I always appreciate hearing about these people, everybody that we talk to on these shows, doing so much and sometimes doing the most to really not just remain relevant, but to make a contribution in this time and to meet the demand and meet the need where it exists. So we're ready to check on the traffic situation again. And this time we're going to the Western Main Road in Cocorite. And this is all via traffictt.com. Quite a stream of traffic there going out of West Trinidad and heading to, or is that, I'm not sure if it's heading towards, it's heading east, right, yes, heading out of the west, heading into the east. We see, then the roads don't seem as wet, but I'm sure that they too experienced the rainfall earlier. Yes, so stay with us. Remember, stay on top of the weather today, folks. We do expect a wet day today. Keep safe on those roads as you set about the day's business. All right, so we head to a break. We'll be right back.